why. Why 3-on-3? What's a few of the biggest reasons for each a coach, a parent, and a player why they should start using it?
For coaches, it's a great tool for development and for creating smarter, higher IQ players. From the player's perspective, it's no better tool to work and get the reps in order to develop and get better than 3-on-3. In action, it's fast paced. You're going to be involved in all aspects. For the parent, that's just
Hello and welcome to the 3-on-3 Hoops Pod, the voice of 3-on-3 basketball, and where we break down why 3-on-3 is the secret sauce to player development. I'm Kevin Roberts, and joined as always by the one and only Coach Jay, aka Coach Jared Dent. What's up, Coach?
Oh man, I'm just happy to be in the nation again. We back for another show, a very special show, by the way.
Yes, I'm very excited about this show. Today's, like Coach Jay said, this is a very special one, episode 33 of the 3-on-3 Hoops Pod, 3-3. So we couldn't let this number slide by without making it something special. So today we are going to give you the 3-on-3 starter kit, how to actually start using 3-on-3 in your program, in your practices, or even just at the park with your kids. And, because we want to make this super easy for you guys, we've also put together a free download 7 proven 3-on-3 drills that you can use, and it's just 3 pages long. It's actionable, and you can grab it. You can grab it on we will put it on 3on3hoopsnation.com, so, and we'll give you more details about that later. So Coach Jay, let's get into it. Before we talk about how to run 3-on-3 in your practices, or how to run it, let's start with why 3-on-3. So when you think about the impact of 3-on-3, and what's a few of the biggest reasons for each a coach, a parent, and a player, why they should start using it?
Well, as we've been speaking about the last previous episodes, previous weeks, and what we always preach, for coaches, it's a great tool for development and for creating smarter, higher IQ players. From the player's perspective, it's no better tool, to work and get the reps in order to develop and get better than 3-on-3. It's always in action. It's fast paced. You're going to be involved in all aspects. And for the parent, that's just it. Both from the coach's perspective and from the player's perspective, you want a smart, you want your child to be a smart basketball player that's skilled. So 3-on-3 is the perfect environment to at least get started in.
Exactly. And, fewer, like Coach said, fewer players on the floor means more touches, more decisions, and more teaching moments. We say it all the time. And, in 3-on-3, a kid can't hide. So every possession, they're forced to think, they're forced to react, they're forced to adjust. And it just builds better basketball IQ, like Coach said, confidence, communication. It builds all that fast. And, we want to develop these players as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible and efficiently as possible. So, as you know, both Coach Jay and I run 3-on-3 basketball leagues, programs. What you may not know is that Coach Jay and I run 2 different formats of 3-on-3 basketball. Coach Jay runs a traditional format, the way most of us are familiar with playing here in the U.S. It's probably the more popular version. It's the format that we all grew up playing. It's what we use. It's what they use in the Big Three. The rules are: if you score, if the basket's made, next possession begins with a check ball. There are variations after that, that could be like make it, take it, where if you score, you keep the possession until there's a turnover, or the other team scores. The point total you play to could be different: 11, 15, 20, 21, or whatever. So Coach Jay, what are the specific rules for your league?
Like you said, it's pretty traditional. We go by the 1 and 2 point scoring system. So 2-pointers are actually ones, 3-pointers are actually twos. We inbound the ball from the center circle. So
I think that's what they do
Um,
at the big three, right? I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the half court line itself is out of bounds, but I just have them step in that half, the semicircle. They
Yeah.
take out from there. They inbound the ball to their player. One caveat that we have is there is no check ball. So
Mm,
if a kid, and this has happened a lot of times, if a kid score and they come back and take out, they would make the mistake and check the ball to the defensive player, expecting the ball to come back. But in our league, that's a turnover. So you just pretty
gotcha.
much gave the ball away to the other team. So it's just a clean inbound, clean possession. Um, we started out doing makers takers, but in our earlier like leagues, we kind of experienced some like lopsided games to where like it was just score, 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 score. The other team
Yeah.
never got the ball, so we started alternating possessions, and we got more competitive games out of it. And the biggest thing that we do at the end, so we play time, so we don't go to like 12 or 21 or anything like that. We just play 20-minute running clock quarters. We
Mm,
separate it as a 10-minute half running clock. We do like a couple minutes of halftime, and then we do 10-minute running clock. Now,
gotcha.
after the end of the game, if the game is tied, we do a free throw shoot off for to determine the winner. So we there's rounds. So if there's a first round, we take a member of each team. If the first team makes the shot, the second team has a chance to tie. If they make it, tie, it goes to the second round. There's different shooters from each team that shoot. If the person misses, the game is over. The original team that made the shot wins. Now, if we go through each team and every player on each team goes through and either they all miss it or just say they all make it and it's still tied, there's a sudden death round to where the very next free throw, that team wins the game. So we've had a couple of those. We had a couple of those last season. And there was one team that ended up finishing in last place. They actually beat the first place team with that free throw shootout where they went all the way through,
Yeah.
and then the
I
last
like that.
person made the free throw at the end and they won the game. So
Nice.
those moments right there could get pretty tense and exciting.
That's pretty cool. And that's the thing, with 3-on-3, like it's flexible. You can, tailor the rules or, the format to the skill level that you're coaching or that you're dealing with. So, the format that I run at 3-on-3 live is 3x3. And for the most part, it's based off the FIBA 3x3 rules. I do deal with younger kids. Some are beginners, so I've adjusted the rules that wouldn't intimidate or put much pressure on my beginners. I'm trying to bring them in, trying to make them fall in love with basketball, not trying to scare them away. So, but 3x3 is generally more popular overseas. It's why we struggle in the Olympics. So, but we are working on getting it more popular here in the states. And I decided that I wanted to be a part of that. And it's a much faster paced game. Where when a basket's made, the possession changes right away without checking the ball. The only rule is that you must clear the ball past the 3 point line before, well, it's 2 point. The 3 pointers are worth 2 pointers before you attempt to shoot. So, Coach Jay, if you're on a team and I'm on an opposing team, Coach Jay scores, it goes through the net. I'll get it through the basket and clear it from the 3 point line, and we continue to play. There's no check ball. So, but the game never stops in between possessions. In regular FIBA rules, there's a 12-second shot clock and a 10-minute game clock. And this is the adjustment that I made for my league, where I have a 20-minute running game clock. So it's just 20-minute running clock and no shot clock. Although I am heavily considering getting one.
That would be dope.
Yeah, so I need so I might get a 12-second shot clock, have maybe 20 seconds for my beginners. But the ball is also different. And it's a bit different. It's the weight of a traditional men's ball, which is size 7, and the size of a traditional women's ball, size 6. So the men and the men and the women here use the same ball, and the colors are very distinct as well. And I have my many reasons for adopting this format in my program, but the ball is definitely one of them. I mean, I absolutely love the basketball. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. But either way, this is the first decision you have to make, which format you're going to go with here. And there's advantages to both. The way coach runs his and the way I run mine, there's both advantages. It's a much more of a personal preference, and Coach Jay and I can go over what we each like about each format. But that'll be a show topic all in of itself, down the line. I'm sure we'll get to that topic eventually, and that'll be a fun one actually. So uh, there's also the new unrivaled format, which is a shorter court, but it's full court 3-on-3. So, but don't overcomplicate it. You can start with, half court. Half full court might be too much for beginners, especially the younger ones. It's a
Yeah.
good way to get them tired, though. So, for sure. But first you can, just do first team to 7 points. First team to 11 or whatever you want to do. So, maybe a 12-second shot clock if you want pace. If you're able to have a shot clock of any sort, check the ball up at the top. To slow it down a little bit. But here's the tip: just add constraints to each, to teach specific skills.
Yeah.
So like 2 to 3 dribbles max. You must make a pass before shooting, or every player must touch the ball twice before a shot goes up, or start. I think you said this before. Like, you start every possession with the ball screen.
Yeah.
This is where 3-on-3 stops being just like a pickup game and starts becoming a development tool. So, Coach Jay, what's your favorite restraint that you like to put on a 3-on-3 game?
Yeah, I like a couple of them. My favorite two, I'll go with two. My favorite two is three dribbles total. So three dribbles total, not three dribbles each individual player. Like the team, you get three dribbles in total. That's one,
I'd be
and
mad
then
if
two.
I'd be mad at my teammate if he used all the team's dribbles.
Yep,
That would.
exactly. Exactly. And then number two, which kind of ties into number one, because if the team only gets three dribbles in total, there has to be an off ball screen. So I like to mix both, but really all I need to do is just introduce or just let them know that it's only three dribbles in total, and then the kids naturally be like, oh well, let me go ahead and set this off ball screen to get this guy free because we need something going to the basket. Then that's my main message behind that, and that's the main reason why I like to do that constraint is because uh, kids like to dribble the air out of the ball a lot, and then not only that, in the process of them doing that, they tend to get further and further and further away from the basket. So the less dribbles that there are, the more the action is going towards the basket. So that's why I endorse that particular
and
constraint, the three
and
total
that's
dribbles for the team.
that's the reason I'm thinking about using a shot clock, because
Yeah.
that'll eliminate most of that stuff. So, but all right, so we've talked about why 3-on-3 works, and there are like, we again this is our 33rd episode, and that's all we talk about. So we have many more to talk about. So we've gone over like the different formats that you can run. So how do you actually start putting this into play? You don't need like a full blown league like Coach and I have, or any kind of fancy setup. You don't need to make this complicated at all. You just need to start, right? So,
Yep.
Coach Jay, when a parent, coach or parent, asks you how to start using 3-on-3, what do you normally tell them?
I mean, with coaches, it's pretty simple. Just you can end practice with it, or you can start practice with it. The start is a good warm up. You can use it as a warm up, and then at the end you can use it as part of your conditioning. Run a 20-minute running clock game, 3-on-3. Get the players conditioned. As far as the parents, look for these 3-on-3 tournaments that come up. Or if you guys are involved in basketball, just get some kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, just set something
Let's
up in your
just
backyard or your
right, just
driveway.
open up your backyard. Let's start
You
back
be the
doing that
ref.
again. Yeah, let's start doing that again.
Play
And
with your
you don't
kids.
even need a ref. Like just street ball rules,
You
man.
got
Just
mom
go
on
out
one
there and
team,
play
dad on the other. Have
something.
you
Yeah,
got
something.
yeah.
Just get back to playing. That's the big thing now. That's the big message that I hear. a lot on some of these professional basketball players podcasts that they're talking about these days is, kids just don't go out and play. And we've said it on here too. Just play, man. It doesn't matter if it's 2-on-2, 3-on-3. 3-on-3 is the best method because, you get the spacing and all that. But just go out and play. Play,
Yeah,
play, play, experiment with things, have fun, and
exactly.
then everything will fall into place from there.
Exactly. You don't need a league. You don't need a bracket or trophy,
Yeah.
to get going. So you just need to start. And if you're a parent, you just need, 6 kids in a hoop. Like Coach said, that's it. If you're a coach, you already have everything you need. You got, have players in a gym. So start small, play to 7, call your own fouls, and just watch what happens. I mean, when
Yeah.
you do this, it's not just about like running games. Just watch what they do. And you'll see who talks, who moves well without the basketball, who freezes when they don't have the ball in their hands. It just gives you so much more information as a coach without even saying a word. So, what I'm saying? You can just watch them and just see. A lot of times when you're watching a scrimmage as a coach, you get fixated on one or two guys usually, and it's easy to lose your sense of the other players and what they do well or what they don't do well. So
Yeah.
but Coach Shay, 2 questions here. Is there anything in particular that made you start using 3-on-3 as a tool? And what is the first thing you noticed, or what did you notice that made you be more intentional about using it as a tool for your program?
Just the fun that the kids are having, just by being more involved. Especially that first year out here when I started with the junior high program at Heritage. It was just me, one coach, with like 25 kids.
Yeah.
So it's hard, it's hard to get everybody involved, especially when you're doing, like the in season practice where you're trying to, teach things like sets and things like that. And you have like the 5 on the 5, and you're either like walking through things or you're doing like little scrimmages like that. Um, Obviously 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys, they'll, with their short attention spans, they'll start to screw around on the side or whatever. So, just getting them involved in 3-on-3, you have I had all the baskets, I had all the players that I needed. So just having everybody involved and active all at one time, you see just the fun that they're having just by them being more involved in actual basketball activity versus just standing over to the side watching, the coach go through, where to go when we're running 5 out motions and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's coach's pro tip. Just start with what you already have. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like you have 25, you can be much more efficient in your practice. If you got 4 kids, just play two on
Yeah.
two. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you got eight, just rotate them in, or you can play, have 3 players playing with one sub. So, just work with what you got. If you're a coach and if you have 12 players, you can split the court up and just have 2 games going on at once. If you got 10 players, you can have 3-on-3 on this side and 2-on-2 on the other. That yeah,
Uh,
check my math.
yeah.
But don't wait till you have everything ready. Just start now. Start messy. Improve as you go. All right. So let's talk to the coaches who are listening and thinking, I like 3-on-3, but um, how do I fit this into my practice without losing, my 5-on-5 time. Because we get it. Every coach wants to run their sets, the scrimmages, and all that. And I know you're going through this too with your club team, but you don't have to give any of that up, right? So,
No.
Coach Jay, when you consult with coaches, what's the easiest way to tell them to start blending 3-on-3 into what they're already doing?
Like the way we do our practice, we we work on like skills the first 30 minutes or whatever, and then before we do like our strategy sessions where we go over our emotions and our sets and things like that, we'll do some 3-on-3 stuff to to get the energy up in the building, or I like to end practice with it sometimes too. Sometimes I feel like we don't need 5-on-5 time, especially if we just came up for a tournament the last weekend or whatever. We got our 5-on-5 reps in throughout the weekend. So we'll go back to the foundation, which is the 3-on-3. just so everybody can continue to sharpen up their toolkit on, the dribbling, the passing, the cutting, the rebounding, the communication. That's the importance of the 3-on-3. So coaches, if you can at least carve 10 minutes of a practice out to do some 3-on-3 stuff. You know, you can use it, and you can use that even in the skill portion of your practice, really.
Yeah, for you can use it to teach like specific, teaching moments like spacing or
Yeah.
cutting, backdoor cuts and stuff like that. So, that's how I started using it. Mostly, I started integrating my practice instead of, I'm just trying to think of an example. If we were teaching like a backdoor cut, I would
Hmm.
before I started using 3-on-3, I'd have one guy at everybody in the baseline, a guy up top with somebody guarding him, so two people up top, and then one person on the wing
Hmm.
and a person guarding that, and we would go over how to, when to recognize for backup. We have them like be cut up and then
Right.
cut back down and next four, and everybody's watching. You can do that with 3-on-3 where you got everyone on the court, and then you can actually add another option, like the option you said in a past show, with that third guy on the opposite
Yeah.
wing as an outlet.
Hmm.
Now you can do that. You can go through that drill with six people on the court. You can also have another coach if you have another coach, go over the same drill with six other on the other side, and just switch offense and defense, and then you can add, okay, now do the same thing. We're going to do the same drill, except this time it's first team to 3 points using that,
Uh-huh.
and you can only score off the back cut. So yeah, you can do different things like that. And like coach said, you can start practice with it. We used to start all our practice. Once I started using it, I started all my practices with a short 3-on-3 game. It
Hmm.
gets, just to get the energy up, and it was not
Yep.
just game to three. That's all it was,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nothing
Exactly.
special. We did have our pregame drill also, but the short 3-on-3 game before practice to get the energy up and the touches up. You also use it mid practice, like you said, maybe after teaching a new concept, like we just talked
Uh-huh.
about, and players can immediately apply it.
Yep.
And just like I said, defending a pick and roll, or in the paint decision making, or rebounds, and then you can do a 3-on-3 game where you score with rebounds. So like
Yeah.
1 point for basket, two for an offensive or you got to be careful with that because you don't want the me
Missing
bound
on.
thing. You don't want
Yeah.
the
You don't
like
want the
yeah.
Angel Reese. You don't want the Angel Reese's coming on.
I'm not.
Apparently, look, yeah, I'm not even gonna dog Angel
Hey,
Reese. I
she's
love
balling
Angel
now. I
Reese.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she,
she's been
yeah.
she
And
no,
then
she's
I was never even on that. Oh, she's missing on purpose. Like,
I don't know,
nah,
me
man,
neither.
nah,
No,
nah.
she's a good
She's just
player.
missing, and unfortunately, she's just missing. But the good part about it, she's just there to get her own rebound.
Hey, and you know what? She kept doing the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She just kept working and kept working hard. So I think it's starting to pay off for her.
yep,
But here's another hidden benefit of 3-on-3 when Coach and I are talking about when you do all this. 3-on-3 will speed up your practices
yeah,
because there's less standing around, there's less dead time, there's more players moving. How many times, Coach, say you have like this whole practice sheet and you only get through like half of it, or you only get through
man.
like you never get to finish your full practice sheet. But now with you 3-on-3, you can be more efficient in stuff that you teach. So the energy is up. When I start using 3-on-3, I noticed the practice felt shorter because players were more engaged and because they were involved the whole time. So
And
um,
then, as I mentioned, also you can combine portions of your practice with 3-on-3. Like if you need to do some conditioning, just substitute the conditioning circuit with 3-on-3. Have them playing a continuous game. You can
mhm,
have them circuits like, okay, if this team loses, all right, you over here, you run over here to this court. The team that won this game, you run over here to this court. You guys play each other. You play each other on this court, etc. It helps make your practice more flexible. That's what I'm
yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah, and there are a few drills. We've talked about some of them already, but I used to have this decision making drill where a guy drives to the basket. You can either kick it out to the guy on the wing, or you can drop it off to the guy on the block, depending on if the defense helps or whatever. But that was more a 2-on-3 because I didn't have anybody guarding the top guy. But it was more of a
Yeah,
decision making drill. But defensively, you can teach that. Um, the backdoor cuts, like I said earlier, DHOs, dribble handoffs.
yeah,
So that's the best. I think that's the best format to teach. A lot of DHO play, and especially in those situations. So, but the best part about all of this is that you'll see players talk more, they'll understand more because there's, nowhere to hide, everyone's engaged. You have a bigger chance of, and if you end it like you said earlier, like if you end practice with it, you have a bigger chance of ending practice on a high note for everyone.
Yep.
Because I'm telling you, as a from experience as a player and as a coach, players love it. You know what I'm saying? Players
Hmm.
love playing 3-on-3.
Yeah.
It's just a fun way to break things up.
They never want to
And
see it in. That's
yeah,
one circuit that they don't want to see in is the three
yeah.
on three circuit. Like at the
Um,
end of practice when we run the 5-on-5 scrimmages and they
mm,
like are dog tired,
yeah.
sweat drenching out their shirt, they're like, "Ooh, thank God practice is over."
Well, not just that, you have the players that just played 5-on-5 and they're frustrated because they didn't get the
Right.
ball in their
They didn't
spot,
get
or
anything. Yeah.
and not everybody's getting back on defense. So what I'm
Right.
saying, there's a lot of stuff, and I still do 5-on-5 too. So there's
No,
just
you have to. You have
yeah,
to. You
yeah.
have
So,
to. Yeah.
but it's 3-on-3, it's fun, it's competitive, and that's another, like, it can get really competitive, and they're all involved. So
Yeah.
you can focus in on a particular thing, like communication, or how we're going to defend a pick and roll, or maybe working on defensive closeouts. It's just a
Yeah.
chance to reemphasize whatever point we're trying to stress in a particular practice, or when we're getting ready for a particular team. So you get to focus on every player doing it, not just your top 3 or 4 players. So
Right.
all right. So last piece, it's probably, and it's I'm not going to say probably, it is the most important thing. So we're not, coach and I are just telling you to just roll the ball out there and hope they learn. You know what I'm saying? So there's a certain mindset that you have to have, that you have to bring into this. So the mindset that you bring in as a coach or a parent really matters. And for me, starting when things started clicking for me is when as a coach, once I started using 3-on-3 with intention, like with intention to teach something or to make my
Mhm.
point. So Coach Jay, what mindset do you take into a 3-on-3 session?
That's funny that you said that because that's exactly it. Be intentional, right? As a player and as a coach in your 3-on-3 session. As a coach, what do we want to achieve in this particular 3-on-3 session? Right? Like what do we want to build upon? Like for instance, we had one tournament where our defense was really bad. So the next practice that I went into, I really, really, really had a focus on help side defense, right? Because you can still do help side defense in 3-on-3. And then same thing as a player, like okay, if we come into that practice saying, okay, this is what the focus is in this session, you have to intentionally focus and lock in on doing what we're trying to achieve. That's the only way that the reps are going to be beneficial, and you're going to see the development happen in the kid. Is if you go in there with intention. It's not just when we say this all the time. This isn't just roll the ball out there and just go at it. Like we're not playing role. Like there's a time and place for that, but in practice you have to go into it with intention of achieving an objective.
That's right. And when coach says that, when coach is saying this, we're also not telling you to overcoach. So like if you go in with teaching, wanting to teach a certain point, you're not gonna just stop play and kind of reteach it. Like I think some coaches tend to do that a lot, when playing 5-on-5. But here you want to teach whatever you're teaching, whatever point you're trying to make, you want to teach it, let them play, and then you just have to let the game breathe, right? So now you'll want to jump in and fix every mistake, but like
Yeah,
that's the magic of 3-on-3, is that it forces kids to think, right?
yeah.
And because
They'll
again,
figure it out.
I'm telling you that sense of involvement, they know that they're going to be in that situation, they know that they're going to be involved. So
Yeah.
a player's sense is already heightened, right? So
Yep. It's
um
just like it's just like driving. There's a different experience of being a passenger versus being behind the wheel,
yeah,
right?
well, I was
When
actually
you're
gonna
behind the wheel, you're a lot more engaged and focused on what's going on versus when you're a passenger, like, oh, just wait there
Yeah.
when we get
And I was
there.
actually gonna say it's a lot like, if you think of, I mean, you're a parent, we're both parents. It's a lot like letting your kid learn how to ride a bike. So,
Yeah.
you don't stop them at every time they wobble. You just kind
Right.
of run alongside of them until they
Yep.
figure it
Let them
out.
figure out.
Um,
Yeah.
yep. And that's how, 3-on-3, that's what 3-on-3 should feel like. And here's how I like to frame it. Just let them play, watch what they do, and then teach them in the pauses. You teach them when there's stoppage of play or afterwards. So
Hmm.
parents, this applies to you too. So 3-on-3. Say you have doing 3-on-3 in your backyard or a driveway or whatever, or even if you take your kids to a park. A lot of dads or even moms, play with their kids, and 3-on-3 might look messy, but let them make their mistakes. You know what I'm saying? The mess is in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
the mistakes aren't bad. That's the reps. And you can take you can even take that up to like regular life advice. You have to make mistakes to be strong, to be more confident in something. So
yeah,
I'm a very strong person, by the way. So I made a lot of mistakes.
yeah. Indeed, indeed.
But if you're listening and thinking, okay, I'm in, but where do I start? And we've made it super easy for you. Coach Jay actually put together a free 3-page PDF, 7 proven 3-on-3 drills. These are drills that you literally can start using tomorrow at your next practice, or even, in your driveway. So, just go to well, we're going to put it on 3on3hoopsnation.com. And but you can sign up, and I'll let coach talk about this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just a guide, 7 proven 3-on-3 drills. They include some of the constraints. Some of them include some of the constraints that we talked about on this episode, and yeah, they could be plug and play. They could be implemented today. You don't have to run all 7 at a time, but these are the type of tools and the resources that we intend on providing to coaches out there everywhere, that are part of the 3-on-3 Hoops Nation. So yeah, like Coach said, head over to 3on3hoopsnation.com. It'll be on the website soon. Once you find it, just go ahead and you can download it from there.
All right, so there it is, the 3-on-3 starter kit. If you're a coach, start with one drill. If you're a parent, just set up one game. If you're a player, just grab 2 friends and go to a park and challenge 3 people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
back in the
exactly.
day, that's what we did.
Yeah, yep.
So this isn't about doing everything at once. It's just about starting. So and when you do, we'd love to hear about it. Shoot us a message. Let us know how you're using 3-on-3 in your program. If you're a coach, you're a parent, player, how you use 3-on-3 overall. And just remember to grab those drills. Sign up with your email, and you'll get those. You'll get that PDF coach put together in your inbox. And we'll also it'll be on 3on3hoopsnation.com as well. So episode 33 felt like the perfect time to do this. With the 3-on-3, 3-3, we're not gonna have another show that's 3-3, so that thought it was perfect time.
Uh,
We're just getting started. We have many more episodes to go. Coach and I are really passionate about not just 3-on-3 basketball, but just growing this sport and getting more young fans into this sport and helping them develop and get better as a basketball player overall. Like we said, like we open up every show, we believe 3-on-3 is the secret sauce to player development. Coach Jay, any last words?
be intentional. Be intentional. Be intentional. Be intentional. And one last thing, be intentional and go on 3-on-3 Hoops Nation. Get the 7 proven 3-on-3 drills guide. Nation.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, don't forget to join the nation, send us a message. You can also leave a voicemail on there as well, and we'll play the voicemail and on the show. And whatever you want to say, what
Yeah,
you want
ask
to
some
talk about.
questions. We would
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
we would like to we would like to answer some questions on the show, man.
Yeah, I get a couple messages here and there, on Instagram or email. So we really want to start sharing that with you guys. So yeah, just let's all be a community, and it's not just us telling you. We're trying to learn from you guys too. So we just want to create a culture where kids fall in love with the game, and also maybe even coaches fall in love with coaching again, because there may be a coach out there that fell out of love with coaching, and seeing this might light a spark in him or her
Yeah.
to coach a different way. And 3-on-3 is just a way. Coach Jay and I just show you how to get there. So so like Coach Jay said, join the nation. We ask that you not only join but also share with a coach, a friend, a teammate, someone that will get something out of this. So go over to 3on3hoopsnation.com. All right. So this was fun. That's it for this show. Until next time, we'll see you when we see you.